Into the ropes and off, a flying tackle by and a drop kick.
10 pounds of pure gold.
Got to hold this just a minute. You want a little bit more?
I'm a real heavyweight champion.
Gotta be the best of me. More to me than anything I've ever done in wrestling.
They call this the 10 pounds of gold championship. As existed in a certain product.
That canvas pretty hard, and look at Buddy going to work now. Oh!
Hey everybody, it's Durger time. Welcome back to another episode of TEW 2020's Billy Corgan NWA. We are rounding off the tournament. I think this is the end of our second round, heading up into the semifinals. And we have a couple more weeks of events before our Great American Bash, because in our save, we've stolen all of the old Jim Crockett names, I suppose. So, what do we have coming up in July of this save? Well, we have, obviously, this week's Week 1 will be the final two of what you picked for the Crockett Cup. After that, it'll be the semifinals with 2 matches, and then the finals will be the ones you guys picked right here, and then whoever wins that will be going on to the Great American Bash to fight for the tag team championships in the NWA, as well as get a contract permanently there. So, pretty big deal. We're rounding it off. We're getting near the end. We do have some morale issues. What's going on here? Irritated porn gimmick, whatever. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna have to at some point probably burn out these old tag teams, because obviously, you know, Cash and Dax are no longer with us in terms of our save. We're not really going to utilize them. I'm trying not to just hire the people that lost, though we may end up doing a losers bracket, because we do have 3 months left on most of their roster for the people we hired. So that might be kind of fun afterwards to do a tiny little tournament of a losers bracket to give another tag team a shot at a contract. They won't get a title shot, but at least they'll get a contract. Like, let's take a look here. What am I looking for? I'm looking for contracts. Here we go. So, let's see here what we have. Expires in 2 months. Yes, so we have about 2 months left. Most of that will include this month. So, really, we have 1 month after to play around with all of the losers bracket to potentially give them another shot at a contract in NWA. I think that could be kind of fun. Especially, we might make it like an inaugural Circle Squared tournament or something like that, or something along those lines. So we kind of give them a loser bracket, a kind of another chance to maybe not get the prestige and not get the title shot, or obviously the tournament win, but they may also get a contract in NWA, and everybody else disappears. So that could be kind of fun and interesting. Anyways, we got 6 days to go in before Power. Nothing on the back end, so let's quit the preamble and let's just get right to the booking. And while we're back, it does look like we do have some decisions in mail, so let's go ahead and look at the mail here. Tessa's expired contract of Impact is gone, and we have a pay raise request from Marty Scurll. It really is going to depend on what he wants. Let's do 50%, and no, that might upset him. Let's do 75% and just not upset him. We're in contract negotiations with Ace Austin to make some of the contingent of my Discord happy. Though I just watched the latest Slammiversary. I'm about to say Bound for Glory. And yeah, I was impressed by him. Though I've been watching more of his character gimmick work, and I think he's interesting. I think he might be a good fit here. So I'm going to bring him in, and we'll see what we're going to do with him. But I think he has a potential to really be a strong contender in the NWA, and would be a good hire. We got the money for it. And as we're losing certain elements here of our roster, as we kind of phase some people out, he might be a good replacement. Again, in terms of contracts, I don't think anybody else is expiring immediately, but we do have, let's see, we got a lot of ongoing contracts, actually, which is sort of the new thing, which is it doesn't necessarily expire because it's just a handshake, so we don't really have contracts phasing out anymore, but we might let some people go in the interim. There might be some people that we just don't need anymore. Obviously, Tim Storm's retiring, so we have at least one spot to fill. But that there's always that kind of element there that can become a problem. But not a huge deal, and we might always groom some people out. We only need 20 people on our roster, but honestly, we're flush enough, and I think we're moving our people around enough that it doesn't hurt to have some more people. So we'll bring Ace Austin in and see how the crowd likes him and what he can do for an NWA. We still got through actually a whole bunch more days to go to Sim, so let's go ahead and get back into it and try to get to the show. Ooh, we've gotten to our show of the years so far. Let's go ahead and take a look at these. So Cody Rhodes is in pole position for Wrestler of the Year, which is interesting. Company, WWE. Team, Jon Moxley and Conor McGregor. When the hell did that happen? That's a weird one. Match of the year is Wrestling Dontaku. Show of the year also is Wrestling Dontaku. Young Wrestler of the year, Darby Allin. Veteran, AJ Styles. Female, Becky Lynch. Independent Wrestler is El Higo de Pirata Morgan. Interesting. Oh, and so we got a lot of news going on here. Let's go ahead and break some of this down. WWE rising fast following their recent growth. Now is a very dangerous time for WWE. In the next few months, they must take a fine line between confidence and overconfidence. So they are doing very well from the sounds of it. Doesn't really affect us that much, but I would imagine a company like AEW might be getting worried. Sheamus was injured. Got a new champion here. Nothing else crazy. So I did say I was going to probably close Shikara, try to keep it parallel to real world events the best I could, but honestly, I'm going to say it's probably fine. I think they will close on their own at this point. That's financials there are not looking hot. Everybody else seems to be okay, but Chikara, holy crap, I don't know what has happened here, but they are hemorrhaging money like something fierce. Like some companies, CZW is struggling, 17,000 down. DTU is a little bit down. ICW is down significantly. So we might see some closures coming up soon. But other companies seem to be fine. But yeah, I don't know what is going on there. NXT's down, but that doesn't really count because they don't really make money. They just get absorbed in. And obviously, WWE is pretty much unstoppable in performance and capital at this point. 121 million in revenue or in their cash flow here. What are they making per month? About 8 to 12 million in performance a month. Nothing really can stop them. They've recently just expanded to large. So, something to look out for because God knows what will happen with the WWE and what they will do. But in our own little front, our own small little company, we're doing quite okay. We are trucking along here, making a little meager amount of money, but we are cash flow positive, something that we haven't been able to say very often in this show's history. So it's definitely a good turning point. I think everybody else probably seems fine. What I needed to know what happened to Shikara here. How did they lose so much money? I don't even know. They are expending a lot of money, but yeah, they're going to be closing. I wouldn't worry about that. They must have had a fine or like a lawsuit or something. Fight TV deal expiring. We do have 1 month remaining. Something we're going to have to keep a lookout. And our deal with USA. Oh God. Not this. We're third out of. That's fine. ASOS. The Durger curse. I shouldn't touch anything. I'm not gonna touch anything anymore. Not gonna touch the keyboard. Not gonna touch it. Okay, I gotta get back to this chair. I'm freaking. How? I shouldn't hire anybody. If I hire anybody, they get injured. It's we're have to see what we're looking at. I'm sure he wants to get a contract now, huh? Yeah, fine. Jesus Christ. Complete signing. Let's take a look at his medical. We'll bring him in. 18 days is not horrible. It's being worked through. Okay, so fracture. He's working with a fractured arm. We won't use him for a bit. We're gonna keep him safe, I think, because I don't want him to get hurt anymore. Oh man, what's Eddie Kingston upset about? Botched turn. Yeah, well, that's fine. All right, so we are gonna have to look at our TV show and our events. We had talked about moving on to something like a MAV TV or something like that. So I think it's a good opportunity to maybe take a look and see what we can turn things around into. But that's not for today. Right now, it's time for power. Let's power on through and get to our show. All right, let's see here what we got for backstage incidents. More protege work, which is cool. It's kind of weird that they became proteges, but that's fine. We'll medal. And let's see where we want to medal here. Not one of the people that are here. Why not? Let's go. Both have driven. I'm trying to remember what the personality matrix is for driven, what that does for them. Let's take a look real quick, because I should probably play this smart, because I do want to get some kind of protege work on somebody. Let's see. Where's it in there? Contract deals, popularity, attributes, driven. It's really focused, best career possible, no natural backstage environment, negative morale. Okay, not really something that's going to matter that much. I know there is someone that is better at, or more likely to become like a protege or something like that, which we would want. Let's try Nick Aldisto. And I like the idea of trying to get Wheeler, maybe, to have some kind of positive relationship. No effect this time. That's okay. One day we'll get there, I suppose. Going to be broadcast on USA. And where are we going to be? It should be the... No. I think I have it preset, so I really shouldn't even bother with this each time, but my arena area. Select this venue. 850 capacity, and we're looking at 423, so we're fine. We're within that range right now. Anyways, all right, so we got two of the final two matches for the Crockett Cup for this round, and then at that point, it's my turn to pick, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm kind of curious to see how the final results, I haven't looked at them yet, so we'll see what the results are of those in just a moment. But first, let's book the show. Alright guys, we are ready for NWA Power. We're at 63 minutes in, 9 segments. I should probably do some more pre-show matches in the future just to keep people in the loop and cool. I think I might do that going forward. But right now we're just focusing on the main show, and I've not really had much mood penalties, so it seems like we're okay. Let's go ahead and let's run it. Let's see what we have. We start the show off, actually not that bad of a segment. Tim Storm retiring, obviously. We start his last ride storyline officially, though technically it started a little bit before, but we forgot to set the storyline up with him kind of announcing that he's on his way out. He's running tired, running ragged. And he's at the interview table after that, and he starts talking about the NWA at the interview and how long he's been here, and even before Billy Corgan was here, how he kind of felt like he was holding it up at its lowest point, and it's, that he held that 10 pounds of gold when 20 people were in the audience, and, look at this today, and he's so proud of where it has come to, and the fact that it's actually an alliance now, and not just some scattered, tiny little companies, and that it's an alliance worth praising. But then he kind of goes off onto an aside and says, he wishes, though, that the alliance title was held at a higher prestige. Feels like it's often forgotten, and that while it's not the 10 pounds of gold, it represents the best of the alliance, and that the person holding it should be a stronger champion for the National Wrestling Alliance name. And he starts to kind of really dig into Eli Drake, how he feels like he's all ego. He uses it as a way to boost himself, not boost the brand. And it seems like he's kind of not necessarily picking a fight, but really does not view him as a proper Alliance champion. This actually gets the show off to a strong start and gets the crowd hotter. Say what you will about his wrestling ability, but Tim Storm can cut a pretty okay promo, as we see with our 39 rating here. Afterwards, we just have a quick minor segment, just announcing that Miro and Brody Lee are going to have a contract signing tonight for their match, the Great American Bash. As you remember, Miro won through the Colts' interference, kind of costing Brian Pillman what could have been his rematch, and they are going to have their contract signing for the Great American Bash in 28 days. Afterwards, speaking of Pillman, this segment actually also does pretty well. Pillman's backstage warming up for the night. He's still obviously very furious about last week. He has a match against Josephus, which is basically a 4-on-1. And Flip Gordon joins him in the back of the locker room. And obviously, Flip Gordon kind of came in to help Pillman out, but really he's there to try to still deal with this situation with Colt Cabana. And Flip Gordon goes, "Hey, so, yeah, about last week. Yeah, listen, I know we're not friends or anything," he says. And Pillman kind of quips in, "Yeah, I don't even really like you." "Yeah, I know. Listen, Josephus and his brainwashed goons did you dirty. But you can't just go it alone. There's 4-on-1. And my friend, I need Colt back. They got him wrapped up in all of this. I know he's not like this, and I need your help. So what do you say? Why don't we work together instead on this one?" Pillman thinks about it and nods, and accepts Flip's kind of uneasy alliance to work together to try to hopefully get Colt out of the Colt, and Pillman to get some revenge on Josephus. We continue to get the crowd hotter with this, and yeah, this is pretty good so far. And for the first of the 2 matches for our Crockett Cup, we're going to have to go to the poll and see. We have Private Party versus Warhausen. We got 22 votes in. Honestly, not shocked at this result. I think this was the fan favorite. We got Warhausen with 95% of the vote, which is fine. Like I said, I'm not shocked by that at all. It seems like pretty much kind of how I expected it to go. This segment is not too bad. I think we put Warhausen in maybe the wrong spot, but I was trying to give Private Party the best match they could. But we gave them a high spots match. Warhorse had a pretty decent rating for high spots and aerial, but Danhausen was a little bit weaker on that front, so I think that suffered a little bit. But honestly, a 47 is pretty solid for a mid-card match here. It's a decent match. Warhausen defeat the Private Party in 9 minutes when Warhausen pinned Isaiah Cassidy with a double foot stomp. Danhausen was the weak link, again, because I think of the settings of this match. But I think ultimately it was still for the best because we allowed Marquand, Cassidy, and to a lesser extent Warhorse to kind of show off some more of their aerial abilities to kind of work with this, which I think worked pretty well. And Warhorse and Danhausen obviously had great chemistry, and Cassidy had their tag team bonuses, which was nice. Gave us a 47, and that means that Warhausen moves into the semifinals of the Crockett Cup, where I will be determining the next round of winners to ultimately bring you guys to the finals, where you guys will decide who actually wins the Crockett Cup for this year. Afterwards, we have a brief segment where we see Scott Steiner watching Warhausen from the sidelines after their win, eyeing up Danhausen. Danhausen obviously has been kind of interjecting himself, despite not being signed with the NWA, in the singles scene, kind of taunting Steiner, being upset with his foul language, and kind of providing some animosity there. And it seems like Steiner is now kind of eyeing up Danhausen. It looks like he's maybe doing some scouting to see how he works in a match, because obviously these two will eventually go to blows. It seems inevitable at this point. And we gain heat for our Hungry for Shoney's storyline, which is always fun. And we get a 40 for this, which is not bad. Sorry, I just had the loudest neighbor just scream outside my window for some reason. We have the NWA Women's Champion return to action on Power. Tessa Blanchard has an exhibition match against Skyler, who she defeats in 6 minutes by submission. Tessa had a 60, Skyler had a 28. Segment overall was a 59, did fantastic. Just trying to, again, provide more legitimacy for Tessa. I need to look at her attributes because I feel like what I want to do at some point, and maybe we'll do this as like a live stream at some point, similar to what I did with the NXT save. We might go through some of our roster and just make sure their attributes are up to snuff. Again, one of the things I feel is lacking so early on in a lot of the mod makers is just simply not having enough attributes or realistic attributes for those wrestlers. We won't go as crazy as NXT because I think that might be going a little overboard, but I just want to make sure that maybe she has the right personality matrix to be believable in this save. So keep a lookout for that. We might do that at some point. I don't know when, but I'll probably notify y'all on my official Discord page. So if you are interested in joining a random backstage live stream of that and you want to know when, go ahead and click on the Discord link in the description below and join, so you'll be notified when that happens in advance. And overall, this match is pretty good. It provides some legitimacy for Tessa Blanchard, who obviously is going to be in a triple threat for the championship. So she is we needed to provide her as dominant as we can, and I think that's what we did here. And overall, very, very successful segment. And this moves on into our final match of the Crockett Cup, round 2. The African American Wolves, AR Fox and ACH versus Rock and Roll Express. For all the people that said, ACH is retired, just want to point out that he's going to have a match at GCW. So don't at me about that, okay? But let's go ahead and see who is winning this. We got to go ahead and get into our poll results. This was a shocking one to me. But I think this was another troll move because of how much I don't want the Rock and Roll Express to win. Rock and Roll Express move on with a 94% vote, 16 voters, not as many as to rest. African American Wolves only got one vote, unfortunately. So in this match, which I believe was this a wild brawl? No, this is a regular storytelling match. Rock and Roll Express defeat the African American Wolves in 7 minutes. Ricky Morton pins ACH just to rub salt into the wounds. I don't want to do AR Fox dirty like that because I quite like him. But we have the Rock and Roll Express, the NWA staple that we fired at the beginning of the series reboot, is now working their way back through the tournament, potentially getting a contract shot. It will be moving on into the semifinals. God, I hate it. AR Fox had a 60. Man, it's so good. ACH had a 46. And Gibson and Morton had a 29 and 30. So, yeah, the better team did not win here. Still, though, Segment was a 47. It did pretty good. And AR Fox stood out as being very good. In our main event, not main segment, but our main event, we have Pillman Jr. and Flip Gordon in a little bit of revenge against Josephus and Colt Cabana. Had a decent reaction, did have a little bit of a subpar wrestling issue, though, which is kind of be expected. We had actually Josephus winning after pinning Flip, after Colt Cabana pinned Flip Gordon with a handful of tights. We also, though it doesn't say it in here, we also had Connor interfering with Pillman Jr. in the finish to kind of protect him. Obviously, Connor and Victor are outside the ring, so even though it's a 2-on-2, it's still technically a 2-on-4 with the Colt, and Flip and Pillman just could not overcome the numbers. And it looks like these things are going to escalate to, they have to find some way to isolate them from the pack. Overall, its match is okay, kind of wildly disparate in terms of performance rating. Colt Cabana was the standout performance favorite at a 47. Our Josephus is the weakest link at 25, Flip just behind him at 28, Pillman at a 39, kind of underperforming in this match a little bit. I think it was a wild brawl, which probably was what hurt him, but it was there to kind of boost Josephus's numbers up a little bit, who we really been having more into a managerial role anyways, but I figured this was an opportunity to put him in a match. Overall, though, it's still not horrible. It's a 40. And in our main event, boosts a lot better. We have our contract signing. Miro obviously flips the table, attacks Brody Lee. We got the animosity between them, setting up for a Great American Bash as a big old brawl. And yeah, I mean, that ends the show pretty nicely with a 60. I think we might hit 50 for our segment rating. That main event actual match might have hurt us a little bit. I might have... Maybe I should have done Tessa, honestly, in the main event. But let's take a look and see how the match ratings panned out for the total show. 47, so about right for where we are. But yeah, I feel like I should have put Tessa up front. She is considered basically a main eventer for us. I think this was probably where we got hurt. If I remember correctly in how this match rating works, and we won't look for it here. It's basically your highest, I think it's your highest angle segment and your highest match rating, but plus your main event, like whatever's on your top of your card for matches. So angles at the end don't count. It's just the highest angle counts. Plus your main event, I think, plus your highest match divided. So that probably hurt us a little bit, because it would have been, maybe Warhausen or Rock and Roll Express versus whatever. It doesn't matter. I probably bungled that up a little bit. We probably could have got to a 50, but 47 ain't too shabby. Gets us 17, a boost in 17 regions, which is fantastic, and still maintains a positive sort of momentum boost for the NWA, despite maybe some booking flubs here and there. All right, we do have some mail. Let's go ahead and take a look at it here. House of Danger shitting on Connor. And we got a 0.03 for our TV ratings. Should still be doing financially pretty okay. We'll take a look here just to be sure. I don't see any reason why we would be... Well, actually, our performance did go into the red this month. Do we have a reason why? Production costs, maybe? Our ticket sales are at 5,000. Broadcast sponsorship. Our sponsorship's a little week early. It would seem like we round off with our sponsorships, so it shouldn't really be that bad. Did we ever boost our merchandise sales officially? I thought we started that upgrade. Because I would like to. Yeah, we are currently upgrading your merchandise. Normal approach. We'll progress once a week, 8%. So we're slowly moving up there. That merchandise boost is going to be nice because that also will allow us to maybe start to individually package wrestlers and kind of build the brand that way for us. But not too bad. So that concludes round 2 of the Crockett Cup. That gives us now the semifinals, which I will be picking. And then that leads to the finals, which you guys will ultimately decide who gets that contract, who gets a title shot against the Von Erichs. And yeah, I think we're still going to go ahead and do that, or loser's bracket. I think we'll do a circle squared tournament or something like that. And so we have an opportunity to basically sign 2 new tag teams to the show, which could be a lot of fun. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining me. I will see you next time for another episode of Billy Corgan's NWA. Peace.